Hi, I'm Kevin, a speech-language pathologist here at Super Duper Publications. And this is Auditory Memory for Quick Stories. And it's an interactive program for improving auditory memory and comprehension skills. Now, this is designed for children ages 4 and up, and we're going to include 30 illustrated stories and 6 full-color scenes, even having 6 follow-up questions per story. Now, we can use an unlimited number of students with this program. We have 4 levels of difficulty per story. It keeps track of your students' progress, and the reproducible stories and pictures in the workbook allow for carryover practice or therapy activities while you're there in your sessions. So once you receive the product, we'll open up the CD holder, and we simply place it into the computer.
Super Duper Publications presents Auditory Memory for Quick Stories.
After the introduction, you'll notice that we have the main menu page. Now, from this page, we can either add student and play a game, we can visit the instructor area to see our students' progress, or even add students and change settings where we adjust the levels of play for each student. And we can even check out tutorials to help us get started. If we hit the tutorials button, you'll notice that we have instructions for introduction and sign-on, change the settings, add the students and change settings, instructor area, save to a spreadsheet, select a story, or even play a story. And those will give you further information for each category item that you select. Back to the main screen, our returning students will be listed on the right side of the screen. And so what we can do is highlight a student and click Play Game. And this will take us to our listing of stories. Now we have the stories selected here on level 1. Each time a student will complete a story, you'll notice we have a check mark beside that story indicating that that task has been accomplished. What we can do from this screen is select a new story. And this will take us to the screen
Ice Cream Surprise. One Saturday afternoon, Mitch and his sister Susie were making ice cream sundaes. "I love hot fudge on my sundae," exclaimed Mitch.
Does Mitch like hot fudge on his sundae? No. Yes?
Susie replied, "I like strawberries on mine."
Does Susie like strawberries or cherries on her sundae? Strawberries?
Mitch reached into the cupboard to get the cherry topping.
Did Mitch get the cherry topping from the refrigerator or from the cupboard? Cupboard.
When suddenly his dog, Benny, grabbed the bucket of ice cream by the handle and ran outside.
Did Mitch's dog Benny grab the cherry topping? Yes.
Mitch and Susie chased Benny, but the dog ran too fast. He got away.
Did Mitch and Susie run faster than the dog? No.
Finally, they found Benny in his doghouse. Susie grabbed the bucket and opened the lid. She looked inside. "Wow," she said. "I guess now we'll have milkshakes instead of sundaes."
Did Benny hide the ice cream in his doghouse or in a hole? Doghouse?
So you'll notice after each story is presented, we have a question. Now, the default setting, if we click at the top of the page here, this will reveal our current settings. So we have settings for Patrick at level 1, replay before answering, no, and wrong answers, no replay. It's also going to indicate out of the 6 story cards, which ones we got correct and which ones the student had incorrect. If we wanted to change the settings to where it would actually give the student an additional try after an incorrect answer, we can do that from the settings page. But for our illustration purposes and our demonstration here, you'll notice that after they had an incorrect answer for number 4, it moved on to question 5 and that story sequence for that. We can change those settings by clicking the Settings tab, and this is going to allow us to choose level 1, level 2, level 3, or level 4. Now in our demonstration we had a picture presented with the story, and then we had a follow-up question for that story. This is going to allow us to change the settings so that with level 2, we're going to have 3 questions after 3 picture pages have been read. Level 3, we will read all 6 of the story pages and then answer all 6 questions at the end of those stories. And then for level 4, we'll have the sound only with no pictures. We're just going to read the story in its entirety, and then the 6 questions will be presented at the end. So you see we have much different levels of difficulty that the students can use with this activity. Also, you'll notice here on number 2, allow students to replay the page once before answering. We can select yes or no for that. And at the bottom, if the student incorrectly answers a question, as in our example, no replay of the story, go to the next question, or you can replay the story page that the student missed, or replay 6 story pages altogether. Also, for extension activities, we can turn the questions off so that the teacher will ask the questions, and then also we can turn off the audio and turn off the questions, and this is going to be for the story retell section, where they're simply going to listen to the entire story and then retell that story back to you without answering questions. Once we have our settings set, we can go back to play the game, and it'll take us to our stories menu for these. Once again, it's going to highlight on the right, you are currently on level 4. We can click to close our current settings at the top of the page, and then we begin from there. So we have level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, and then all the levels will be highlighted there, where we have each of the stories, and then we can select the level there in the side. The instructor area is going to give you a quick view listing of all of your students, the dates that they did these activities, as well as the level of the stories that were completed. So from here you can get a quick glimpse into the student's progress. If we simply highlight a student's name, it will take us to that student's individual progress page where we can get a more detailed report of their activities. You can always save this to a spreadsheet, and you can even print this page for your documentation. So if we want to take a look at a different difficulty level, let's go back to Patrick, play the game, and remember now we're going to change our settings to let's do 3 questions after 3 pages. We'll select our story, and now we're ready to begin.
Shadow Shapes. One night, Tricia and her little brother Jeffrey were sitting on the couch watching TV. Suddenly, the lights went out. Tricia noticed strange shadows on the wall. She said, "Jeffrey, look at that shadow. It looks like a butterfly." Jeffrey looked up and said, "Neat. That one looks like a barking dog." They laughed as more shapes appeared.
Were Tricia and Jeffrey sitting on the couch or on the floor? Couch. Did the first shadow look like a bird or a butterfly? Butterfly. Did the second shadow look like a barking dog? Yes.
Then Tricia whispered, "I think I know where the shapes are coming from." Shh. She grabbed Jeffrey's hand. Together they jumped over the back of the couch, landing right on top of Dad. Tricia giggled and said, "I think we've solved the mystery."
Did Tricia know where the shapes were coming from? Yes. Did they jump under the couch or over the couch? Over. Was their mom making the shadows? No.
So again, once you've completed the story at whatever level that you choose, it's going to give you the indication here at the end on whether the student was correct or incorrect, and actually give them their progress report right here on the screen with their medals. So after the students have finished their stories and they have their progress indicated here, we can return to the story list to select another story, or it's the end of the session, we can have carryover and homework activities. Now to do this, this is where we have our resource book. We can turn in the book. It's going to have all of the same 30 stories that we have, and this is going to give us the short story again. It's also going to provide 8 additional fun follow-up questions, and even has the visual cues down at the bottom to help retell the story. And again, you can print these out from the CD and you can use these as your homework activities. So you see, the auditory memory for quick stories is a great way for students to practice those auditory listening skills of actually listening to the information, comprehending that information, and answering follow-up questions appropriately. And it even works great for students with story retell. So if you'd like to learn more about the auditory memory for quick stories, please visit our website, superduperinc.com, and even check out our Facebook page. We would love for you to share your thoughts and ideas on how you can use this product with your students.